How's everybody doing it on this great Saturday? I know we are all happy that this good weather is starting to flow in. I know I definitely am. Um, it was definitely a great week. I had a few hiccups or not, but hey, that's a part of life. That is a part of life. Before we get started, as always, got to give a shout out to the frequency. Yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you go like, follow, and share the frequency CO and the frequency CEO. That way, uh, you will always be able to see the King's Court on Tuesdays and on Thursdays at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then, of course, we have the King's Court, the Wise Men edition that will be coming in the next few weeks. That will be on the frequency as well. And we got some great things coming up. Some great things that are actually coming up. We are excited. We're super excited about everything that is coming. If you haven't already, can I be the man? A letter from us to you. The book. The book is out. Book, ebook, audio, all bases is covered. There's no excuses. Get it so you can join in on the conversation. The conversations that we actually been having. We're about to start deep diving here soon because we got the trigger series. The trigger series that is coming. It's time to start promoting that. Ladies, one of the topics. Why do men cheat? It's coming. Trigger series, and then of course the infamous multiple wise series as well. The infamous multiple wise series is coming in the trigger series as well. So you want to stay tuned for that. Also, got to give a shout out to GMAP Productions. They have been doing some great things with what it is that we are doing right now, pushing and promoting the platform and what we have been doing. It's only about a time before uh, things just get out of hand. That's what I'm gonna say. Things just gotta get out of hand in a good way. In a good way. Before we go into the topic of discussion today, it's something that's really heavy on my heart. Something that's really heavy on my heart. Yesterday, to melanated men or men in general, but it was something that we discussed briefly, but we didn't go into grave detail about. Um, as men, we have been conditioned to be strong at all times. It has been this way since we were babies. Since we was walking around. But now we fell down, hurt ourselves, cried, was told to get up, stop crying, man up, some area, I think else. We have been conditioned to be strong. Even when it comes down to our inner circles, we have been conditioned to be strong, to not show any form of weakness whatsoever. When the reality of it is that it's no such thing as a female emotion or a male emotion. It is just simply emotions. That is it. And we walk around with these burdens, smiling and acting like everything is just great. When on the inside, we're hurting and borderline dying. I admonish and I encourage each and every last one of you to stop holding on to the toxic things that are within us. We have to, we have to start talking about these things. And ladies, I'm going to ask y'all to open up, to allow us to open up and be naked and unashamed to you. And for us to be able to do that without any repercussions. What do I mean by that? I mean that you won't see us any differently than what you did before. The same strength, the same exact strength that we carried prior to is the same that we have in the midst of that. Because there's a lot of us out here that suffer from anxiety. There's a lot of us that suffer from PTSD, depression, so many different things that directly are tied to our inability to be able to express how it is that we actually feel. And fellas, we have to break this narrative for the sake of our lives. For the sake of our lives, we have to break this narrative. Because it's too many of us that are walking around here smiling, laughing, playing with our kids, kissing our wives, while on the inside, we are hurting with no one that we feel comfortable enough to be able to talk to. We have to change this narrative. And for those of us that are around individuals that we know that are like this or suffering like this, you need to be there. Shoot a text message, pick up the phone and call. If they not picking up, keep contacting them until they do. Because the suicide rate within us as melanated man, I don't even know what it is. But if it's more than one, it's too much. And that's just within society as a whole. Get out of our self-centered nature that we have right now and start caring for people the same way that we would want them to care for us. There's no reason when a world that is considered to be overpopulated that anyone should feel alone. And I'm just gonna leave it right there. I don't know if I want to add anything to it before we get into it. Feel free.
Actually, we are, because this was actually going to be the topic of discussion today. I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of people have battled depression. I remember I definitely dealt with it off and on since 2017 myself. And all I can say is, when did it become seen as such a weakness in the African American community amongst men? And I say that because, a close brother of ours expressed to us that he was battling depression as we speak right now. And he was like, he don't want to be seen, looked down upon, inferior, all of that. And I'm not even just speaking on the behalf of him. I'm speaking of myself and other people included. I know that there's a lot of us that they bottle it in because they don't want to be looked upon as weak. But once again, my question is, why? Why is it, I don't want to say taboo, but why does this train of thought take place?
Well, can you hear me? Well, I like to go to the root of the problem. And in the brown community, we're at war with each other. I'm talking about the women and the men, the husbands and the wives. Not only are we inflicting wounds upon each other, but we have outside sources that are inflicting wounds to us. The fact that we're unorganized as a people, the fact that we deal with police brutality, we deal with racism, and we deal with child support. And I know a lot of people need child support, but if you get into the crux of it, you'll find out how harmful that is. It eliminates the need for communication with one another. And the brown man is so exposed today, more than he has ever been exposed, because slavery really didn't go anywhere. They just gotten clever with how they do it. You know, you do something for a longer period of time and you just become more clever about how you're going to get the job done. And that's what's happening here. And everything is so covert. Men have always thrived when they've been able to have a place of refuge, a place that they can go to and say, I'm free now. I can take off this armor now. It's not that we're fronting when we go out there, but we have to be so on point when we go out there into the world. It gets daunting. It's a daunting task, and it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting. And what are we coming home to? Are we coming home to peace and tranquility, or are we coming home to arguing, fussing? I mean, how many of us at some point in our lives have come home to our girlfriends, if we're playing house, or to our wives, and we've come home and we've had come out of our mouth, please, I just had a long day of work, not today. Not today. And so now the very one place that we can go to have this peace and have this tranquility, we don't have it. So where's the outlet? Where is the place that I can go to if I want to break down and I want to cry? Crying doesn't make you a man. Crying is cleansing your soul. You got to cry. We don't cry at funerals. You know, we don't cry when we're happy. We don't cry when we're sad. Because we have been told in this society that makes you less than a man to be able to express yourself. What, you got emotions? Oh, man, you ain't a man. Men don't have emotions. That's the unsaid thing. We're supposed to be like brick walls. When something happens to us, we're supposed to have the most understanding. When something goes wrong, we're supposed to be able to fix it. And if we can't fix it, we ain't a man. Even if we don't have experience fixing what needs to be fixed, we can't fix it. That means we're not a man at all. The expectations for men is through the roof. It's beyond reasonable. And what happens when you let the temperature grow and grow and grow in a pot of boiling water? Eventually, that thing gonna blow. And how is it gonna blow? Who knows? It may blow by taking your life. It may blow by taking somebody else's life. You've seen it before, heard of it before. Somebody just all of a sudden in a car with innocent people, and they just run off a bridge. You know, just have the screw it all mentality. But it's a build up point to that. But nobody ever checks on the man like, are you okay? Is there anything that I need? Sometimes you got to nudge a little bit harder. You got to sometimes be close enough to lean in to find out what it is, because sometimes a man, they're not going to tell you what's wrong. You almost have to dig it out of them. But we need to be able to do that, because if men don't have nowhere to go, well, guess what? It's going to come out. And it might not, 9 times out of 10, if it comes out from an impulsive standpoint, it's going to be a life-altering decision.
We're talking about a split second. Go ahead, D.
Oh, no, I was agreeing. That's a fact.
We're talking about a split second. Split second. Split second, that individual being down and just can't take it no more and taking their life. Split second of them taking their family's life and then theirs. So many things. A lot of the violence and stuff that we see in this world, especially within our community, is tied to this. It's tied to this topic right here. And I know from experience, I'll tell you exactly how I used to be. You know, depression, and my depression used to turn into anger. When I was younger. I would leave out of the house, and the first individual that I would come across, it would go up. They didn't have to say anything to me. They didn't have to look at me. It's just, I was going to make them feel the pain that I was feeling. Literally. How I'm not in jail to this day, I do not know. But literally, that's how I was. I done punched holes in walls. Shattered car windows. I done hurt a lot of people in the process. When I say this thing is real, I mean it is real. And I'm going to keep using Chris's example because I think it's perfect for me. It's like sewing up a man's or individual's bowels. If it don't go out the bottom, it's got to come out of somewhere, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to come out of the top. And for all my doctors and nurses out here, you know what happens when that feces come out of the top. It gets into your bloodstream and it becomes toxic. And a lot of the toxic behavior that we see in this world, in our communities, is due to the lack of ability to deal with, handle, and be able to express the hurt, the pain, and every other thing else that we have, that we are holding on to on the inside. And each and every last one of us have experienced it, some more than others. So why this is such a hard topic to, I don't even want to say topic, a hard issue for us to resolve, I really don't understand. It boggles my mind. What we're asking for from our women, as far as being able to be naked and unashamed with you, you experience the same emotions that we experience. How would you feel if you didn't have that outlet? Or even if you don't have that outlet, if you didn't have the ability to be able to express your feelings openly and freely without judgment. And it's the same thing with us men, because not everybody has that significant other at home. Where's that friend, that brother, that you can be naked and unashamed with, that you can expose your entire soul, and they are going to understand and not judge you for what it is that you are actually saying. I have a brother that's going through it right now. And literally, I'm asking myself, what am I doing? What am I doing to where my brother feels like he can't come to me and express himself openly without judgment? What is it that I'm putting across? What am I not putting across? Now, I get it. My wife tells me on a regular basis, you are really, really hard on men. Really hard on men. I get it. I know I am. But the same way that I will hold you accountable is the exact same way that I will be that shoulder. And I feel that exact same way for every 18 brother that I actually have. That's just literally what it is. I know that if I call you brother and you're within that circle, that I can express myself openly and freely without judgment. And we need that. We need that. Each and every last one of us. Because quite frankly, there are things within myself as a man that I can't take to my wife because she's just simply not going to understand. Just not going to understand. And that's okay. I don't hold it against her. So I need my brothers. So when those times come, I will have someone that I can talk to that will understand exactly what it is that I'm saying, that will feel my pain the way I feel it. Not trying to comprehend what it is that I'm talking about or get an understanding or learn my perspective. I'm talking about they feel and see exactly what it is that I'm feeling and seeing in that moment. We need that. But we have been conditioned to be hard. We have been conditioned to not have a heart. Compassion is not supposed to be a part of our vocabulary as men, unless we're showing it to our women. We have to do better. We do. That is to include myself. That is to include myself.
You know what, King, man, I'm going to put myself out there myself, and stress kills you. It's a slow death. And, you know, one of the things that doctors do when you go to the hospital is they They check your vitals because they want to know the region of the problem. And then once they know the region of the problem, they can focus their concentration on finding out the address of the problem. So a lot of times, if we're conscientious, we have an overview of what may be going on in our lives, but we're not getting down to the finite diagnosis of what the issue is and how to go about treating it. And I'll use myself as an example. When I first started out and I got married, it was a challenge because I hadn't proved to myself in the world that I could take care of myself. And here I was acquiring another responsibility. And you and I had conversations about that, about how I was fighting those responsibilities. And it was you that set me straight on that. But so many times I didn't have an outlet, and it took a toll on me. And I learned to work through pain. And I had a severe pain in my stomach. And, you know, I knew I wasn't messing around or anything like that. My wife wasn't messing around, so I knew it couldn't have been like a tract infection or anything like that. But when I went to the emergency room, they told me, yeah, it's a tract infection. They didn't even check. They looked at me up and down and made a diagnosis. I'm just a number to them. So in my heart, I knew something wasn't right. So I went back home and they gave me some medications. I didn't take them because I didn't feel comfortable. So one day I was so sick. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't walk. I wanted to just be naked on a bare floor. I just needed some kind of relief from the coldness from the floor. And I was down there in Portsmouth, Virginia, visiting my family. And my wife was back at home. And my wife, she sensed that. She knew that. She came down to me and she said, boy, I'm taking you to the hospital. I didn't want to go. When I went to the emergency room, I thought I was going to check in and check out. 4 weeks later, I'm getting out of the hospital. They had discovered that I had a hole, a perforation in my large intestines, which in essence could have made me septic. And once you go septic, your organs shut down in 24 hours. So they had me on this morphine, and morphine ain't no joke. So I literally started hallucinating. They hooked up some hose to me. They put tubes in my sides to drain everything that was coming out. Sorry to be so graphic. After that, I walked around with those tubes in me for about 6 months. Eventually, they were trying to hope the hole closed. And one of the things that told me that I was having a problem wasn't even the stomach ache. I started having these panic attacks, anxiety. And the first one happened in the car. My blood pressure was like 230 over 200. And all this happening while I'm driving on the interstate. And I had to pull over several times, just dealing with the stress. And my very first panic attack happened on my daughter's birthday. I was rushing home to set up for a birthday party. Well, I ended up going to the hospital again. And, I ended up going to the hospital again, speed up. And they said, this perforation isn't closing. So we're going to have to do surgery. So I got the surgery, and I was working full time while I was in the hospital. And I got the surgery, and I had got scheduled for the surgery, and they said they were going to use a machine, and it was going to cut out 5 inches of my colon. and I may need a colostomy bag for the rest of my life. But they wouldn't know until they got in there. Well, fortunately, I didn't have to get a colostomy bag, but they did detach my colon from my spleen. I'm giving you these details because I don't want you to experience this. But all of these things was coming from stress in my life and not being able to have an outlet. My wife did the best job she could to be my outlet. But just like KingNaib said, you need somebody who understands you. And that brotherhood, that at the time for me, I didn't have that going on. And so I didn't have an outlet. And so I was just combusting. And this stress was taking a toll on me. And so if you know anything about the gut is the backup brain to your brain. It is literally your backup hard drive. This is why they tell you you have a gut feeling. It is literally connected to your brain like that. And so all of the stress subliminally, subconsciously that was going on. And that's sometimes we don't even know consciously what's going on because things are happening so much subconsciously. I had things subconsciously going on in my mind and it was eating at me literally. And it ate a hole in me. And I got that surgery and they botched the surgery. They rushed me home after my surgery. My wife said, I don't think he's ready to go home. When they botched that surgery, man, I ended up getting 2 staph infections and 2 other types of infections. And then I had to get rushed back to the hospital because I tried to get out of the bed and I heard something go pop. And I had a hematoma. And I had to get a rush surgery again. So I spent 4 weeks the first time. I spent 4 weeks the second time. And then I spent another 3 weeks in the hospital. All of this because of stress. All of this because I didn't have an outlet. All of this because I refused, or I won't say I refused. I didn't have the ability to have somebody that I could talk to that would understand me. See, sometimes in my situation, it was just my family, and I've got girls. I've got all girls. So I had no guy around me that could understand what I was going through. And my wife, she tried to understand. She leaned into me and she tried. But it's just, you can only give what you got. And so here I am. After they did that surgery, they stuck 2 tubes into me. So I had these 2 tubes with these bulbs hanging out of me, and I'm looking at this disgustingness coming out of me and having to self-clean myself with saline drops in the middle of my stomach. And I'm having to work full time because my wife and my children are dependent on me. Surgery over, everything's back to normal. But I still deal with the anxiety. Just dealt with it last night. It feels like, the anxiety feels like something is crawling all throughout your body, trying to push out, like it feels like your soul is trying to escape your body. And it doesn't know a way out. So it is searching, it's pressing. So my head feels like it's moving. And I could be in the middle of a sound sleep and I could pop up like that. So it's real. See, it ain't real until the chickens come home to roost. But I'm telling you, if you don't have the men and women, if you don't have the proper outlet, stress will do a number on you. Now, I'm doing and taking preventatives and measures that I need to deal with this. But I'm telling you, it creates an insomnia in me. And KingNaib will tell you, he could call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and there is a 90% chance that I'm up. See these bags under my eyes? It's because it's difficult to sleep. Don't wait for stress to get up on you to the point of no return. I'm glad my wife told me to do something about it, because as men, because society tells us to keep going and going, and no matter what, keep going and going. That's a great attribute and trait to have. But life is about achieving balance. And so a man must cry. A man must scream. A man must be able to have a responsible way of releasing what's inside. And it's difficult for you ladies. I get it. But you were built for it. You're built with the nurturing and the patience that's necessary to deal with men, because we were created and we are a part of nature, and nature is going to be balanced. So everything that you are not, there is something to supplement that. And in order for you to find out what supplements you, you have to be very in tune with nature. And that means, and that's the thing about religion, the difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality wants to connect you to nature. Has nothing to do with the Quran, the Bible, anything. But religion wants to confine you and control you and make you do things in a systemic way. And you're not a robot. There are going to be times where you need to make a little 15-degree adjustment, a 45-degree adjustments. Everything ain't 90-degree turns, 180. If you keep on going this way and then you have to turn back around and you have to go that way, you're getting nowhere. You're just making 180-degree turns in your life. Or I hear people say, man, I made a whole 360 in my life. If you literally think about that, you ain't do nothing but turn in a full circle and you facing the same hardships that you still facing. Life isn't about making 360-degree changes. Life isn't about making 180-degree changes. 360 degrees mean you're right back where you started. 180 degrees means you're going in the direction you were trying to go away from. And if you keep doing that, I mean, I have people, family members, didn't work out for them in this state. I'm going to go and move to this state. Didn't work out for me in that state. I'm going to go and move and go back to this state. No, the problem, how you fix what's going on around you is fix what's going on in you. And it's going to take a level of humility for you to come to the conclusion, I'm not right. You will become a man when you realize you're not a man. It's okay if you are not where you need to be right now. Don't stay there. But you have to realize I am not where I need to be. And if I do the same thing over and over again, I am going to get the same result. You're not an exemption. You're just a spiritual being passing through this life, having a humanistic experience. This is about fine-tuning and finding the harmony, the harmonious balance. And if somebody doesn't give you that harmony and you've tried everything that you could, stop worrying about what society says about you and think about your life, because your life is important. You were put here for a reason. 120 million sperms trying to get to one egg, and you made it. If you don't think that you're victorious, that alone should tell you are victorious. You had a race with 120 million, and you made it. Guess what? You were champion just by being here. And then you went through the process of going through a 9-month pregnancy or however long you were pregnant. Even more victorious if you're a preemie. You made it through all of that stuff. Everything. All of the little things that can go wrong in a pregnancy, you made it through. All of the things that happen in so many little children that are in NICUs and everything because they cleave into life because they just ain't got it together yet, you've made it. And then you have the audacity to question your greatness. You have the audacity to question if you can do it. But you can't do it alone, because this independence crap, it's not reality. We are dependent beings needing interdependency on one another. And it takes a community. It's nothing wrong. Just like Yanad said, it's nothing wrong with saying, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Please help me. I really want to get better at this. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to give it my best shot. And if you do accomplish something, have the humility to know that anything could have went wrong and you could be right back at square one, just like a lot of the crabs in the barrel. So you have to have a level of gratefulness, and you have to have remembrance. If you believe in the Bible, everything that was predicated about the Last Supper was about remembrance. You have to remember why you are where you are so you can stay grounded, so that you can get where you're going. And then when you get where you're going, it is your obligation to turn around and put your hand out to help somebody else so they don't have to go through the crap that you went through. So that's my testimony right there about my personal experience. I wanted to share that with you because it's somebody out there, if it ain't nothing but one daggone person that done went through this or going through this and feel like I am dying on the inside. I want to kill myself. I want to just be done and I want to be rid of this. You are so freaking important to somebody. And your life means something. And we were all put here. I don't care what you believe in. We were all put here to minister to other people. I believe there are 7 types of spirits. There are people that you can't reach that I can reach. And there are people that I can reach that you can't reach, or vice versa. However, I just said it. You're supposed to be the most authentic self that you can be, so that you can reach all of the folks that you're supposed to as you're passing through here. And when your life is over, your works are supposed to extend beyond the grave. People are supposed to be affected by you long after you're gone by the work that you put in. It's not about how you can get it and your come up and everything like that. Your come up, you're focusing and concentrating on your come up, and you are actually a magnetic design. There's energy running through your body. There are things that are attracted to you. If you just focus and concentrate on doing your assignment, surrounding yourself with the people that you need to surround yourself with, and doing what you're supposed to do, everything that you want in your life is going to be added to you. Good measures, pressed down and shaken together. And then you always see that the rich are getting richer. Well, it's the law of attraction. You sit back and you complain about how it's not going well for you instead of rolling up your sleeves and saying, you know what, it takes one brick at a time for me to build my mansion. And you look back and 5 years, 10 years, 20 years have gotten away from you. You haven't even put down a brick. And a lot of it is because of the stress that we're dealing with and going through, because analysis is paralysis. So I know I'm all over the place, man, but I really, really hope that it's really registering with someone, because I'm just telling you right now, stress will kill you, and it doesn't give a dang about you. My daughter's here, so it doesn't give a dang about you.
So real quick, before we move any further, thank you to everybody that's watching right now. See if your comments. Trail, we appreciate you being out. Miss Yolanda, we appreciate you. Takar, as always, we appreciate you. Miss Leona, I hope I said your name correctly. We appreciate you, of course. And we have Chris on the line as well. Larry, we appreciate you jumping on as well. So let me see here. Takara said, yes, you have to be able to be comfortable in front of your spouse. Now is the reason. Now is this the reason men keep secrets from their partners and move in silence? It is. Plays a big role. Not so much so of not feeling comfortable. It's a matter of not knowing how we're going to be received and how we're going to be viewed afterwards. As like we said, respect is how we see love. So if I can't be open and honest with you without any judgment and know that I'm not going to lose respect from you, which in which is in essence how I receive love from you, then it's definitely gonna make it hard. Miss Leona, she said, I have been through a similar experience. 4 days in the hospital, thought I was going home the same night. A few days later, kidney failure. Had to spend 2 more days in the hospital, culprit. High blood pressure, and I was already on medicine for it. Needless to say, I got my that got my attention. Have also had tingling and panic attacks. Seriously considering speaking with a therapist so that I can stay at peace. Definitely, definitely. If that is the route that you are going to, as far as therapy or seeing a counselor, of that particular nature, I definitely suggest it. Definitely suggest it. I really do. Um, I encourage all of us at some period point in time to go and see a counselor or a therapist. Um, be quite honest. I'm up and down when it comes down to this. And the reason that I say that is that I know at times it's good to be able to express yourself to somebody that has no stock in your situation. But for me, it's so much better when I know that that individual actually cares about what it is that I'm talking about. Because before there were therapists, guess what? It was grandma, grandpa,
Mhm.
auntie, uncles that we were able to go and talk to. Or you had that mother of the doggone community that was, even though you had your own mama, she was everybody's mama. You know, it's just something different, something that's therapeutic and healing, and being able to speak with someone openly and freely and know that they literally care about what it is that you're talking about. They have genuine interest in seeing you succeed, not to put another notch on their belt or to make a couple of dollars and stuff here and there. And it's nothing against any of the therapists out there. I know therapists, I know counselors. I just suggested one of the people that I know, or not to a client of mine, to them. I have nothing against it. I'm just saying for me, there's something deep and spiritual about being able to release yourself to someone that cares, actually cares. So that's me on that. Uh, Chris said, people don't understand how toxic it is to tell men to man up, by the way of just accepting the ish of life and drive on. Anxiety and depression are hard killers. So true. So true. Even right now, I have no clue what is going on with my vision at all. Just out of the blue, one day I started seeing this dot out of nowhere. I thought it was gonna go away. Didn't go away. Went to go make an appointment, see a doctor or whatnot. They checked everything out, and then end up having to go to a specialist. Went to the specialist. They checked everything out, and ended up telling me that um, some vessels in my doggone right eye are leaking. And I have fluid literally over my pupil. It's supposed to get better on its own. But where did it stem from? OCD tendencies and stress. And during that particular time, you couldn't tell me I was stressed. But obviously, my body is. So literally, I had to pull back. A lot of stuff that I would take notice of or say something about, I stopped saying things about. I had to focus on me. And quite frankly, I'm still going through it right now. And I know it was getting better at first. but it's getting worse again. Because every time it's not as bad as it used to be, where I literally see that dot no matter where it is that I doggone look. But I know it's still there because guess what? Every time that I close my eyes, that light that goes before everything goes dark, that circle is still there and it's getting bigger. So I know the next time I go to an appointment, what it's going to be. But I just don't want to have any surgeries whatsoever. Larry said, everybody going through something, you just never know. This is true. This is true. And we walk past people every day, every single day. Question is, do we take the time out to speak? Because we have the ability to feel people's energy. The only thing is we have become so self-centered that the only energy that we want to feel is our own. That is it. People that have committed suicide, things of that particular nature, how many people walk past them prior to, when a simple hello could have changed everything up? Hello, how are you doing? And trust and believe, when people get into that particular state, they have no issues with talking. You can talk to anybody. Want to know how I know?
They're glad you're talking to them.
Yeah, I've done it on both ends. On both ends. Sat down and doggone talk with people, and then talk them out of doing some of the craziest, dumbest stuff. Don't know them. Sit there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes talking them out of doing some of the dumbest stuff that they could have ever done in their life. I've had people do it for me as well. Telling you, just having that ability. Yolanda said, thank you for saying this. I truly understand. And Leona said that stress and anxiety are silent killers as well. But this is great. How you doing, Shadana? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for definitely appreciate it. But on both ends, we need to pick things up. It's like Lee said, we are literally here, not just simply for ourselves, but for everyone. There is something inside of each and every last one of us that we are to impart into this world, period. As much as we might not want to accept it, we are a part of nature. And as long as we are out of sync, everything around us is going to be out of sync, period. And there's a much bigger picture to what it is that we're actually talking about. Much bigger picture. And quite frankly, like I said, telling you, everything comes back to the relationship between men and women. It does. This Cold War that it is that we have been having for far too long. For far too long. We might come into this world alone, but that doesn't mean we have to leave this world alone. I hope you understand what it is that I'm saying. I really do. When you're going through that canal, you coming from out of your mama's stomach or whatnot, you are by yourself. But when you come into the end and taking those final breaths, None of us should ever be alone. Ever. There's no excuse. In the world that is supposed to be overpopulated, there's no reason why anyone should leave this world alone. Or leave this world because they feel alone.
King.
Yep.
Let me piggyback and give this analogy, if I may.
Go ahead.
You know, you and I have talked about this, about having, if you live a full life, it's 3 lives in one, right? Remember that? So when you first come into this world, you're a baby, and you got to learn how to do things. And then just when you master learning how to do things, you're born again because you're an adult, something you've never been before. And you got to learn how to do things on your own, right? In a outside of the setting of your mom and your dad and your siblings. This is an opportunity for you to really, really, hit your stride and your peak. But every mountain that has a peak has an ascension and has a descension. And so the third phase of your life is when you retire, when you're not doing the things that you were doing in your second life, and you're starting to wind down. And everything that you did, in particular, that second phase of your life, is going to predicate how your third phase is going to be. And so I know sometimes people out there feel like life is rough, but have you ever seen anybody climb up a smooth mountain? The rough spots are supposed to be there for you to grip on or something so you can make your way up. So a lot of times, we need the people to be there for us, to help us sometimes when we need that extra step. Because sometimes there's going to be just an area where you might need a little helping hand. So you got to really, really watch how you treat people as you're going up your mountain in life. And when you get to the top of your mountain, please don't think that you're king or queen of everything and nothing can stop you and this, that, and the other, because what goes up must come down. Nobody ever stays on the mountaintop, okay? And the way you come up the mountain, you got to go right back down that mountain. It's just a circle of life. Everybody's going to have to do it. Everybody on this earth, guarantee you, was born. And everybody on this earth, guarantee you, will die. And you got to watch how you treat people when things are going well for you. So you got to take time to take good care and consideration for the people that are mainly in your circle, but you want to try to extend your hand out to try to reach out to other people and help them as well, and develop a reputation for your heart being good, because that's going to be the most valuable commodity to you when you get old. When you get old, you need people more than you need them ever. How did you really, really treat people? Were you giving them a hard time? Were you laughing because they weren't where you thought they should be? Were you compassionate and you were trying to help them get where they needed to be? Were you lending it? Were you keeping all of your resources just for yourself and your family? Or were you being an alpha and you were extending your hand out as far as it could go to help other people? Because that's what's going to carry you in your old age. And I do somehow think the way you treat people has an effect on your health. A lot of times when we do things for people like, and I don't want to talk about what we do for people because that's nobody's business. But when we do things for people, a lot of times you get more out of doing something for somebody than they do you giving it to them. It's more joyous for you to do something for somebody else than it is for you to be on the receiving end of it. So you should take pride into those types of things. And remember what I said about our experiences and our lives are not for us. It ain't about us. It's about those that are around us, how we can impact those people, and understanding that we all need each other. It should be systemically easy for us brown people because we don't have nothing for us. Listen, I love all people. I love the Asian population. But when all that Asian hate and stuff was going on, they came out with a bill specifically for Asians in regards to that. Have we ever got a bill for that? When we do get a bill for those types of things, It's an all-inclusive deal. And so we don't have anything exclusively for us except us. So we need to take that into consideration, and we need to have a little more tolerance, a little more patience, a little more care and consideration for each other, and understand that we all are broken people in some aspect. And we need to have that on the forefront of our mind when we're thinking about how we're dealing with people before we cast them away. No offense, a white business owner do you wrong, you turn the other cheek. A black business owner do you wrong, and you say, see, this is why I don't deal with black people. These are the types of things that in order for us to break them, it's going to take a conscientious, conservative effort to be able to break these types of things down. And that is going to be a trailblaze for our children that are coming. Love your children enough to do that.
Very much so. Very much so. You hit on a topic that I want to jump in on, but it'll take us someplace else, so I'm going to leave it alone for right now. But we definitely need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Long, hard look in the mirror. When I say that we are connected, each and every last one of us, we are connected. And the stronger our relationship becomes, the stronger that connection becomes. The thing about it is we get so caught up in life that we miss the signs. Everybody know what I'm talking about. You just out of nowhere feel like you need to call an individual. And because of what it is that we have going on in life, what do we say? I'll give him a call later. And later never comes. Not knowing that that connection that y'all actually have is being pulled on. In that moment, it's being pulled on. Sometimes they might not even know that they're pulling on that connection, and they are. Sometimes just the sound of your voice can bring joy to a person's world.
Mm-hmm.
Your presence. I talk about it all the time, especially as us as men. Your presence means a lot. You see it every day. I remember when I came home from working on the road, and when I first walked in the door, my son Tobias, right there, lit up like a Christmas tree. Didn't have to say anything at all. Exactly. Shadonna, she hit it on the head. Exactly. She said people need your presence, not presence.
Better talk.
And it is for this reason why I have so much issues with this system. Because this system that we live in, the society that we live in, teaches the exact opposite. I was having this conversation last night with my siblings, with two of my sisters. I was talking about how a lot of the stuff that we teach in our home is superficial. And that's not to say that it's not important, but it's not tangible. It's not those tangible things. Society has taught us literally to teach our families, go to school, make good grades, go to college, get a good job, start a business, something of that particular nature. And you do this until the day you retire. If you retire. Try to enjoy the rest of your doggone days and die. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with education or anything of that nature. I'm all for it. But for me, it's superficial. It's superficial. I told him at the core, we are meant to be mothers and fathers. And these are the things that we need to be teaching, but we're not teaching. And he talked about it. It was like, well, all this other stuff. I was like, okay, I get that. I understand that. I have a project right now, BBOC. What do I call BBOC? My baby. I call BBOC my baby. My vision, my dream, that is my baby. How would I know how to handle a baby if I'm not taught to be a father? The role that I'm actually supposed to be. That is our core essence. It's no different for women. Your dreams, your goals in life, that is your baby. How will you know how to handle it if you're not taught to be a mother? These are the core things. And we know that it's more than possible. You can teach a child how to read as young as doggone 10 months. As young as 10 months. And like I said, I'm not trying to take away from any of these things. What I'm saying is we have forgot the core essence of who we are. I told him last night, you can throw husband and wife out of the picture if you so desire. But you cannot get rid of the fact that every last one of us are designed to be a father and a mother to everything. To that dream, to that vision, to that child that you will eventually give birth to. That is your baby. And if we handled it as such, how much more further would we actually be? So even in it is, well, what you was talking about in reference to us as a people, how we are when we dealing with black businesses and things of that particular nature. How do you think that business would be handled if that owner was here literally looking at it like, this is my baby?
With great care and consideration.
Do you really think that they will allow an employee to be in their business and disrespect their baby? It's just not going to happen. I say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Colorado Springs, we don't have a Checkers, aka Rallies. I said I'm going to put one up here. And every blue moon, I'm going to go through there. They're not going to know who I am or anything of that nature. I just want to see how are you going to treat me. And trust and believe. If I'm not handled with care, or you give me some cold fries, I'm going to go right into the establishment. I'm going to look at the store manager and I'm going to tell him go home. Literally. I'm going to tell them to go home. And I'm going to pull the rest of the crew. I'm going to let them know who it is that I am. And I'm going to graciously explain to them, this is how you handle my baby. As simple as that. Those roles are at the core of us. It's at the core of us. No matter what it is that you think about or say, you cannot dispute that. Being a man, I carry the seed. Being a woman, you carry the womb and the egg to be able to nurture it. Together, We have the God-like ability to create life. See, a lot of us want to call ourselves gods and things of that particular nature, but without us together, we don't have it. We don't have that God-like ability. Not apart at all. Will make things so much easier for us in this life. Even what it is that we've been talking about in reference to depression, it would make things so much easier in this life. If I had the ability to be able to come home after fighting in this world, and I'm just talking about men in general, we had that ability after fighting in this world to be able to come home and be nurtured, which is the God-given gift that y'all all have. It will make our life so much better. And it would be reciprocated as well. Because contrary to popular belief, we have the ability to nurture as well as men. And it is our job to nurture our women. It is one big cycle. One big cycle. That is it. I nurture you to ensure that you have the ability to be able to provide the nurturing that our children need. One big cycle. Even when it comes down to our kids, when we get older and we get elderly, guess what? Those same kids that you took that time out to nurture, to love, to raise, and things of that particular nature are going to come right back and do the exact same thing for you. The exact same thing. And I say one big cycle, that's exactly what it is. I mean, only thing that we have been having issues with is that our frequencies are off. Our frequencies are off. The connection that we once had with nature and with each other as a people is off. Even if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, there was a time on this earth where people were so on one accord, that the Most High said that if I don't confuse their languages, they will accomplish what they have set out to accomplish. Oh, I was sitting here reading. Larry said diagnosed with the end-stage kidney disease in 2008. Started dialysis in 2010. My son told me one day, just look at dialysis like you are going to recharge your superpowers. One big cycle. One big cycle.
Wow. Each generation get weaker and wiser. Boy, boy, boy. Wisdom can come from anywhere.
I'm telling you. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it at all. But unfortunately, our time is coming short. I apologize. Well, no, I'm not going to apologize at all. It was meant for this show to feel heavy the way that it does, because we need to understand as a people that it's not just solely about us. It is not just solely about us. In the midst of going through in my own life One of the ways that I help heal myself is by helping somebody else heal. Literally. We must come out of our self-centered ways and understand that this world does not revolve around us. Not individually. Not individually. It revolves around us collectively. So we're going to go into our final thoughts. And then we're going to keep it moving from there. Who would like to go first?
Steve? All right, I'll go. All right. Man, we open your eyes, everybody, and take a step back. A lot of the things in our convoluted world is too close up on you, and we need to take a step back and we need to be able to see. And how do you take a step back? You know, you meditate, you pray, you have to have some time of the day. I would challenge everybody that's listening to this call right now to take 30 minutes out of the day, uninterrupted, and go somewhere, a quiet place, and just allow yourself to be, and try to allow yourself to let the Most High speak to you. Not orchestrate a conversation in your head, but just some time just to have some soundness, some quietness, because this right here is going to help you be in tune more so with what you're designed to be in tune with, which is nature. And this is going to help you bring balance to your life. Your life will always be in some type of turmoil if you don't have some sense of balance. Now, sometimes to get balance, you got to be imbalanced. But make no mistake, it's a season for everything. And it's not always the season for you to be imbalanced all the time. But how will you know what your seasons are? You're going to have to get in tune with nature. And how are you going to get in tune with nature? You're going to have to take time to conscientiously connect with nature. And that is through prayer and meditation. So I'm challenging everybody to do that. That's my piece.
You there, D? Think he might be having some technical difficulties, which is fine. It's okay. I agree with your sentiments in reference to prayer and meditation. I'm gonna piggyback on that and say this with the question: when was the last time that you just went out into the grass barefoot and let the soil of this earth just impart into you? When I say that we are very much so connected to nature, we are a part of nature, we need it, especially us melanated individuals. Sunlight provides us with so much. You'll be amazed at what just walking barefoot and allowing the soil of this earth imparted into you can do. As a people, again, I say we need to do better. Come out of our self-centered ways and start recognizing the people that are actually around us, the people that we are connected to. Because the same way that you are going through something and you have your moments where you wish that someone would pick up the phone and call you, there is someone that you are connected to that desires the exact same thing. Bless people with your presence. Bless people with your voice. Bless people with your energy. Prayers are good. Prayers are great. I encourage everybody to do it. But I'm going to tell you, like I said the other day, obedience is the activation of your faith. It just is. Activate it. When you feel that unction to pick up the phone, pick it up. I believe, I'm a firm believer in reaping and sowing. Firm believer in it. And I think and I believe and that there are many times that we miss out on a lot of things that we're supposed to have. Because when we have those moments where that connection is being pulled on and we do nothing, it just slips right by. It just slips right by. So as a people, let's do better. Let's make ourselves approachable again. Raise our vibrations and start putting out positive energy into this world so that we can renew and restore the frequency that is needed in this earth. But again, I thank everybody for taking out the time or not. I'm low-key sad because today is Saturday, which means that we won't be doing this again until next Friday. In between that time, if you haven't already, like, share, and follow the Frequency CO. The Frequency CO, that is where you will be able to see the King's Court. And the King's Court every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, sharp 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us. We have conversations like this on a regular, and it's therapeutic. We have fun at the same time. Can I be the man? A letter from us to you. If you have not purchased your copy yet, please go out there and get your copy. We have it on book, ebook, as well as audio. The audio piece, you're going to want that. I'm telling you, got some stuff in there that is not in the actual book. So you'll want to grab that. Thanks to everyone, the entire Ateam family that helped put this thing together. Got to give a shout out to my man, Chris, and the owner and founder of TaylorMade Productions that helped produce and narrate the entire book. I definitely appreciate that. Got to give a shout out to Buckeye Financials as well. And anything from a financial standpoint that you need, that is the place to go. Got to give a big shout out to Ateamtv as well, or not, for putting us on. And definitely have to give a shout out to GMAP also for all the promotion and stuff that they've been putting us in front of, as well as Mac Art for the logo and everything it is. It's just so many people that have literally imparted into this in order to make this happen. Then, with always, I gotta give a shout out to the game store, or not, any shoes, any jerseys out here that you so desire to have, they got it or can get it. It's as simple as that. I've been hooked up already a few times. Matter of fact, I'm about to put another order in here soon. That way, when I get there, I'll be so fresh and so clean. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. The King's Court, the Wise Men Edition, will be officially turning into a podcast within the next few weeks. The Frequency will be hosting it as well. We're super excited about it. We're working on a documentary also in reference to BBOC, something that you have heard us talk about on several different occasions. It's coming. It is coming. I'm gonna tell you now, if you are in the Fayetteville, North Carolina region, the 27th, the 27th of this month of June, we will be there doing a live presentation and recording for the documentary. If you want to be a part of it, be there. Be there. The flyer and stuff will be coming out soon or whatnot. It will have the details of everything it is that you actually need to do. We need to get, I'll tell you now, we're going to have space for about 50 people. For about 50 people. So once that flyer drops, go ahead, send in your details or whatnot. That way you won't be left out in the cold. All right. King is coming out there. And we're going to speak, do this presentation, and really just get it. Just get it. But we got to get ready to get up out of here. Y'all already know what it is. D, you still there? You want to get your final thoughts real quick? Or we gonna slide?
Hold on, I guess. Yeah, all I'm gonna say is whenever you talking about depression, for anybody that's going through it, you're not weak. The first step is admitting that you are going through something and just speak on it. Like we spoke about it yesterday, nobody can help you if you don't speak about your situation. Just like something. But you are definitely not alone in this world. That's it.
All right. All right. We'll get with y'all again next week. Until then, the King has spoken. We out.